and they left it 22 years ago. So he now has a house on the property, but we are no longer using the house as living accommodation. It is strictly now to show to people and maybe serve teas and coffees to smaller groups. Now this is quite a large number of people, so this dining room was built especially to facilitate a coach. That's yourselves. Now the one thing I'll say to you is don't all try to get in there at one time. Okay, that's number one. When you see a few there, stay outside maybe and take some pictures outside. Use your cameras. You have beautiful sunshine now again. And lovely thatched house. Great opportunity. You may not have a chance again on this trip to be in a house like this. It's not a folk park. It's the real thing. This is a working farm. Of course, you're helping it stay to be a working farm by coming and visiting us. So this would be our second income. And most farms now in this country have a second and sometimes a third income. So that's the way farming has gone, and those of you with farm background and knowledge will understand that. Now, also when you come back, we have the inevitable postcard. I have some done at the farm if you want them. If you don't, that's fine. I do encourage you, however, to use your own cameras. Okay? So now, shall we dance?
All out here waiting to see the sheep, waiting to shear the sheep. And this is the people in my group. This is everybody in my group from the bus we're on. I'm not sure what city. I think we're in Limerick or Shannon. There's Jessica. She's in a good mood. This ram. Look at the horns on that thing. This is like real wool, real Irish wool. Look at that. Real Irish wool.
This is what they did with your hair yesterday, Chris.
Now, first thing you'll probably notice coming down this way today is that in this part of the country it's mainly all grassland. There are very few crops grown in this part of Ireland. There are very few dairy farms in this part of Ireland. So mainly what you will be looking at will be things like beef cows, beef cattle, sheep, horses, ponies, things like that. That's what we breed around here. Now we're no exception, we've 80 acres, it's all grass. Now mainly sheep, we also keep a small herd of beef cows, and we keep a few breeding mares as well. Now, the kind of mares we breed around here are things like Connemara ponies, which are native Irish pony, I don't know if you've seen them or not, Irish draft horses, native Irish horse, and Irish sport horses. Now they've all one thing in common, they're all sport animals. Now sport covers practically everything, I suppose, with the exception of racing, which is for thoroughbreds. So you have things like show jumpers, eventers of any kind, riding horses, riding ponies. I suppose the most use we make of sport horses in this country is hunting. Now hunting is very specific. Hunting is fox hunting, with horses and ponies and foxhounds. Very popular sport in this country. Now that grey mare out there, that's an Irish draft. Now you won't see that many Irish drafts. Irish drafts are not that common. Connemara ponies are very common. They're not that. They're in good enough numbers. But Irish draft horses, generally, their numbers are quite low. That's what you'd expect from an Irish draft horse, that type of animal. Strong in the front, very heavy bone. Normally grey in colour, many of them are grey. There are some of them chestnuts, but there's a great preference for a grey horse in Ireland. The difference between a grey and a chestnut is quite a lot if you're selling a horse. Any type of horse. People love greys, not so much chestnuts. Anything except a chestnut. Sheep are our main business. We have a breeding flock of 300 ewes, 300 female sheep. And from our 300 ewes every spring, we get about 500 lambs. Roughly, now that's a round figure of course. So we'd end up with maybe something around maybe 60% twins. Now these are average figures of course. 60% twins, 5% triplets, an occasional quads, not that unusual. The remaining births are only single births. Now most importantly, why do we breed sheep in Ireland? We breed sheep for one reason and for one reason only, and that is to produce meat. not for wool. Wool is of little or no interest to us. So our only interest in sheep is in meat. And what we're looking for is a lamb. Now, a lamb to us as an animal, it's under a year old. That's a lamb. Now, when a lamb goes for slaughter, there's a number of things. Number one, they go for slaughter on weight. Now, the weights we're looking for are generally something between about 40 and maybe 50 kilos. Which would be, double that for pounds, roughly, 2.2 pounds in a kilo. So you could say something around, 88 to about 110 pounds. They go for slaughter with their wool. They're not sheared. And the main market we have for lamb would be France. It's by far our biggest market for lamb. Probably followed by ourselves. So they're the big markets. France is number one. Ourselves probably number two. So that's the lamb. The adults then, the ewes and the rams, the males and the females. We have 300 ewes. We must also have rams. There's one ram as you're coming through the building there. There's only one ram that depends on the rest are all female. For 300 ewes, we'd be running about 5 rams or 5 males, and we would lamb normally in spring. Now that would be normally any time between about mid-December. First lambs of the season generally appear about mid-December, going right through to about middle of May. Now peak lambing is in the month of March, probably followed by February. So that's the peak lambing. Now shearing, the adult sheep, the ewes and the rams, they're sheared once a year, sometime around mid-May. But wool, unlike meat, is not worth very much. It will actually cost you quite a bit more to shear your sheep than the wool would actually be worth. So it doesn't actually, it costs more to get a shearer to shear the sheep than the wool would be actually worth. So it really doesn't pay farmers to get sheep sheared. Now it's something that has to be done, so it is done. But they actually lose money in it. If you want to put it into figures, an ordinary wool, the best wool we have here in this country at the moment is worth about 70 cents a kilo. But about 70 cents a kilo. We'd assume that a sheep will shear something around 2.5 kilos, 3 being quite big. So that's around, it's around €2, roughly, for a wool every year. Now to get a shearer to shear that sheep will cost you, round figures, about €3. So for round figures, it's going to cost you €3 to shear €2 worth of wool, on average. So wool is of very little significance. Most of our wool goes to China and Eastern Europe. We don't use much wool here. The sheep themselves, the breeding stock, the ewes and the rams, the sheep you see down the pendle on there, that's a ewe. We breed them for about 5 to 6 years. At that stage, those animals will be mutton rather than lamb. So mutton will be the older sheep. And that's generally what happens. And they're replaced, of course. If they're slaughtered as mutton, we put a sheep in this place. That's generally what happens. So if anybody has any questions before we send out the box, feel free to ask.
This is me, and my mom and dad, and my big brother Alex, and Jack. This is the day I learned that sandals got their name from sand, and that the ocean is bigger than all of us. This is the day we all got to forget I was sick.
Courage, determination,
commitment,
perseverance,
integrity, justice, teamwork, citizenship,
and excellence.
the 9 values
Jackie Robinson lived by. The 9 values embodied in the lives
Of hundreds of Jackie Robinson
and scholarship recipients.
the Jackie Robinson Foundation.
for more than 30 years
Education.
Education. Education.
has been our pitch.
Come over the hills, my bonny Irish lass. Come over the hills to your darling. You chose the rose, love, and I'll make the vow, and I'll be your true love forever. Red is the rose that in your garden grows, and fair is the lily of the valley.
We are in Limerick, Shannon.